Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei and Rias Had Consolling Part 1. Chapter 1 Group Therapy. One day in the Orc Clubroom. Azazel sits in Ria's chair with his shoes plumped on her desk, guzzling an ice-cold can of soda. Roswa stands nervously by his side, feeling out of place. The Orc members, Issei, Rias, Asia, Akeno, Kaneko, Zenobia, Irina, Kiba and Gasper, plus Ravel, are either sitting on or standing behind the sofas. Their expressions range from confusion to annoyance. "Ah, nothing like a cold beverage on a hot day," says Azazel. "Glad you're enjoying it, especially since I paid for it," says Issei, sarcastically. "Azazel, it's bad enough you're sitting in my chair again, but would you remove your dirty shoes from my desk and tell us what's going on?" asks Rias. "Very well," says Azazel, setting his feet down and raising his can. "First of all, congrats to all of you. Not only did you win the rating game against Saraerg, but your haunted house activity for the school festival was a real crowdpleaser. And a special congrats to the two lovebirds. I wish you both a happy life together." Issei and Rias flush with embarrassment while the others smile at them. "Come on, dude," says Issei. Rias coughs and collects herself. "Thank you, Azazel, but you still haven't answered my question." "Alright then," says Azazel, standing up and spreading his arms like a TV host. "Kids, welcome to group therapy. I'm your counselor for the day, Dr. Azazel. And this lovely lady is my assistant, Dr. Roswas. If I have to do this, I'd appreciate it if you took things more seriously," says Roswas. "Group therapy? Lame," complains Kaneko. "Simmer down. This is an order coming straight from the Devil King himself, so don't even think about teleporting your way out of it," says Azazel. "My brother ordered this?" asks Rias. Confirms Azazel, taking another sip. "Pardon me, but should I be here?" asks Ravel. "Yes, Ravel, you're part of this too," replies Azazel. "But don't worry, no one's in trouble. We're just gonna straighten a few things out, that's all." "What do you mean by things?" asks Akeno. "I'm so glad you asked, Akeno," says Azazel. "Do you remember right before the game when I made that lewd joke about Ravel becoming Issei's manager and you responded with a smack to my head? I asked why you did such a thing and you said it was a delicate time. I didn't get it at first, but then I noticed some tension between Issei and Rias. Everyone becomes uncomfortable, especially Issei. As he clenches his fists on his lap, Rias touches the back of his hand to comfort him. They trade smiles. "Azazel, what occurred between Issei and I is in the past. It doesn't concern you nor my brother," says Rias. "I couldn't agree more," says Azazel. "But be that as it may, Serziches himself also noticed said tension during the game. As did your parents. Look, you guys may have won, but that was only by the skin of your teeth. Putting the incredible strength of Saraerg's team aside, there was a high chance you kids could have lost due to discord within your own team." "What the hell does that mean?" asks Issei. "Let me put it in simple words for you, Issei," says Azazel. "Rias was upset with you about something. In fact, she was so upset, she wouldn't even speak to you. The whole underworld was cheering for you to win, and luckily, you did. However, if the tension between you and Rias mentally weighed either of you down during the game, victory would have been impossible." "Wait, for real?" asks Issei. Azazel paces around the room in a circle with his soda in hand. "Look, guys, no one's judging you. And Serziches and I aren't trying to reopen old wounds," says Azazel. "But the fact of the matter is you guys almost lost a game because of some drama between your king and star player. Personally, I would have left well enough alone and let you kids sort it out amongst yourselves. And fortunately, it seems you have. But the Devil King is concerned, he wants to ensure all of you are getting along. Otherwise, you'll never win any upcoming rating games. More importantly, if you're unable to trust each other, the dangerous battles you face in the future could be your last." Rias sighs. "That brother of mine." Azazel finishes his soda and returns to Ria's chair. "This is serious, you guys. Roswas and I are only here to help. So if there's anything any of you would like to say, now's the time." Roswas nods with the utmost sincerity. His words hang in the air for a moment as everyone trades looks. Issei gazes at Rias and holds her hand. She's surprised at first, but then she smiles and holds his hand back. They exchange nods and turn to Azazel. "Okay, Azazel," says Issei. "But I think we should start from the beginning. Chapter 2 after the incident." "Oh, what am I supposed to do?" moans Issei. He just unknowingly hurt Ria's feelings by calling her president again. She ran out of the room crying and everyone scolded Issei for not knowing what he did wrong. As the atmosphere calms down, Akeno brews a new pot of tea and takes over as second in command. "Alright, everyone. That's enough drama for today. Let's get back to finishing the decorations for the school festival. In the meantime, I'll go help Asia with Rias," she says, though her words are directed more so at everyone except Issei. "Right," says Kiba, Zenobia, Irina, Kaneko and Gasper at once. While they all get to work, Issei remains still and looks around the room. Everyone is so mad and disappointed that they're not even looking at him, only Ravel appears sympathetic. Taking the hint, Issei clenches his fists and heads for the door. "Issei," barks Akeno, angry he'd still go after Rias after she just told him not to. "I'm just gonna go start decorating the back room, Akeno," says Issei. "If I can't go and apologize to the press, I can at least do that much for her." Then he leaves without another word. Everyone watches him go. Ravel rises from the sofa. "Pardon me, Akeno, but I'd like to stay and help with the decorations if that's alright." "Of course, sweetie, thank you. We'd appreciate that," says Akeno with a warm smile. On the bed in Gasper's old bedroom, Rias lays her head on Asia's lap, crying her eyes out. "Rias," she says, doing her best to comfort her. "It's not fair, Asia," sobs Rias. "I love him just as much as you do, so why? Why does he keep pushing me away? He can have his stupid harem. He can have you, Akeno, Ravel, all the girls he wants, I don't care. I don't even have to be his favorite girl, I just want to be one of them. So why? Why won't he let me in? Why does he care so much that I'm his master? He once told me that he liked me just the way I am, as Rias. Was all that a lie? Issei, you ass." "I'm so sorry, Rias," says Asia. "Would I have to fall in love with such an idiot?" weeps Rias. Akeno enters the room. Ara, then I guess that makes all of us idiots for falling in love with him." Rias sits up, wipes her eyes and starts to calm down. Akeno. "Don't worry, Rias," says Akeno. "The others are working on the decorations. And please don't feel bad if you're unable to join us. We understand." "Thank you." "And Issei?" asks Rias. Akeno sits on the bed, with Rias in the middle between her and Asia. "Oh, we gave him a timeout. As we speak, he's working alone in the back room, thinking about what he did wrong." Rias musters a small laugh. "Come on, Akeno. You and I both know that even with 100 years in timeout, his brain still wouldn't figure it out." Ara, that's probably true," giggles Akeno. "Then I'll go talk to him," says Asia. "Though it'll be hard, since I'm still mad." "Please don't be, Asia," says Rias. "I'm in the wrong here too. I shouldn't have called Issei out like that in front of everyone. This is between me and him. I was just so hurt after he called me president in the sauna and I became so sad when he said he'd protect Ravel, I couldn't help it. It's not like he's obligated to protect her, but he cheerfully accepted the responsibility anyway. And he seemed so happy when he said he'd protect you too as well. But when he said he'd protect me, was it because he actually cares about me too? Or is it just because I'm his master? I couldn't tell. I just don't know anymore. I don't know what to do." Asia touches her hand. "Rias, Issei does care about you. Not just as his master. He may not be able to put it into words, but he truly does." Akeno touches her shoulder. "That's right, Rias. And you don't have to do anything. We'll go talk to Issei after he's had some time to reflect. For now, you just focus on the rating game and leave both the decorations and Issei to us." "You're right," says Rias. "A little strategy brainstorming would be a good distraction anyway." "Are you sure you'll be alright, Rias?" asks Asia. "I will be," replies Rias. "Thank you, Asia." "You too, Akeno." The three girls exchange smiles. Meanwhile, Kaneko and Ravel stand in the foyer by the front door. "Thanks for having me, but I sure hate to leave you guys like this," says Ravel. "It's cool," says Kaneko. "You've got family matters to attend to. And don't worry about the decorations, we'll finish them soon enough." "Kaneko," says Ravel. "It's not the decorations I'm worried about." "Ravel, he screwed up. Big time," says Kaneko. "I know he did, but it's not like he hurt Ria's feelings on purpose," says Ravel. "I mean, he's in love with her. I know that. I knew it the moment I saw him fight my brother for her." "So did I," says Kaneko. "We all know he loves Rias, but for some reason, he won't admit it. That match with Riser was months ago, and he still treats her as just his master instead of a person like the rest of us. Issei's always been stupid, but there's only so much stupidity we can pardon him for." "Well, I'm sorry, but I still think you guys were too hard on him," says Ravel. "And think about it. If he thinks you all hate him, there's no way you're gonna win the rating game against Sererg." Kaneko stomps right into Ravel's face, startling her. "Listen, fried chicken," hisses Kaneko. "None of us, especially Rias, could ever hate Issei. Hell would freeze over before that ever happened. I appreciate your concern, but this is between the Gremory household." "Right, I'm sorry," says Ravel. Kaneko smiles and touches Ravel's shoulder. "I promise we'll have everything sorted out before the game. You better. And you guys better win too," says Ravel with a smile. "Word," says Kaneko, giving her a thumbs up. "Well then, later," says Ravel. "Peace," replies Kaneko. A magic circle appears beneath Ravel, and she disappears. Asia and Akeno walk down the hall back to the clubroom. Kaneko appears in the adjacent hall, heading the same way. "Oh, Kaneko," says Asia. "Hey, guys," says Kaneko. "Ravel had to return home, so I saw her off." How sweet, says Akeno. I'm so happy to see my juniors getting along. How's Rias? Asks Kaneko. Still the same, replies Akeno. Issei, you're the worst, says Kaneko. The girls walk in somber silence for a few moments. Akeno, shouldn't we go talk to Issei now? Asks Asia. And say what? Replies Akeno. That Rias is in love with him. That she's sick and tired of him calling her president. I'm sorry, but it won't do anyone, including Issei, any good if we just tell him that. He needs to figure this out on his own. I know, but starts Asia. But what if he doesn't? Inquires Kaneko. What if he really is so dense that he can't? Yesterday, we noticed something was off between the two of them, and when Issei told us about it, about what happened between him and Rias in the sauna, we told him it was his fault. He should have taken the time to figure it out, but he didn't. Instead, he made the same mistake twice and hurt Rias again. Who's to say he won't blow it a third time? I know, says Akeno. It just doesn't make sense, says Asia. Even if Rias didn't try to give herself to Issei in the sauna, she's still been sleeping with him, bathing with him and kissing him every day for the past few months. And yet, after all that, after all this time, the reality is he still hasn't figured out she loves him, says Kaneko. And personally, I don't think he's going to in a single afternoon. Heck, we've all done those kinky things to him and he's still totally oblivious. Exactly, says Asia. What if Rias was right? Even if Issei had all the time in the world to think about his relationship with her or the rest of us, maybe he really can't understand how much we love him. But that's impossible, says Akeno. Issei can't seriously be that dense. But he is, says Kaneko. Which is why if he talks to Rias again, all he'll do is apologize, which is good, but it won't be enough, says Asia. Even if he starts calling Rias by name, she'll want to know why he hasn't been doing so, says Akeno. Then he'll have no choice but to confess to her. And that shouldn't be such a problem for him. But if it really is, if he doesn't do it now, he really will end up hurting Rias on accident a third time. And any chance they have of being together will be over for good. Not just them, says Kaneko. If Issei doesn't confess to Rias of all people, there's no way he'll confess to any of us. Which is exactly why we should talk to him now, says Asia. I admit it, I want him to confess to me too someday, but this is about Rias. She's the one he loves most, and I want to help them become closer, because I love them both, and I want them to be happy together. Of course, you do, Asia, says Akeno. We all do. I hear what you're saying, and I want to help Issei for his sake as well as Rias. But what can we do? We've all made our feelings for Issei painfully obvious to him. But if what we've done by now seriously isn't enough to convince him, I don't know what is. Then it's a lost cause, says Kaneko. We just have to have faith that Issei will grow a brain and figure it out on his own this time. And if he doesn't? Asks Asia. Then Issei won't get his harem, and none of us will get him, replies Akeno with sad eyes. But at the very least he'll always be a reliable ally to Rias and a good friend to the rest of us. Her words cause all of them to stop in the middle of the hall. I can't accept that, says Kaneko with misty eyes. Asia clutches her heart. I don't even want to think of such a thing. I'm not okay with that either, says Akeno. Of course, I'm not. I love Issei. Even after what happened earlier, I still love him and I want to be with him forever. I've seen him do so many great things, but maybe this is the one thing he can't do. And I want us to help him, but I just don't know how we can. Well, if we can't help Issei understand Ria's feelings, what if we encourage him to confess his own feelings to her instead? Suggests Asia. Yes, that could work, says Akeno. But don't you think it's strange? Issei's had every opportunity to confess to Rias, but still hasn't. Even though he loves her the most, he refuses to take that next step. He may be a complete idiot, but I've never known him to be a coward. And if he just figured out that Rias loves him back, he wouldn't hesitate to confess to her, says Kaneko. Then he'd confess to the rest of us and make his harem a reality. Isn't that supposed to be his big pervy dream? It is, says Asia. A harem, all the girls he could want. We're right here, waiting for him. All he has to do is say the word, so why won't he? Issei, I just don't understand. Asia, that's it, says Akeno. You don't understand. And for that matter, neither do I. Maybe none of us have ever really understood Issei. What do you mean? Asks Asia. Just think about it, responds Akeno. Issei's a walking contradiction of himself. He's in love with Rias, but won't confess to her. He wants a harem, but doesn't realize he already has one. He's a colossal pervert who loves girls, specifically their breasts, but never makes a move on any of us. To think of it, that's true, says Kaneko. We throw ourselves at Issei every single day, but he doesn't do anything indecent to us, even when we sleep with him. Doesn't sound like a future harem king to me. So Issei doesn't want a harem after all. He's just all talk. Now that really doesn't make any sense, says Asia. No, it doesn't, says Akeno. I thought he was just an innocent boy who gets flustered whenever he sees a naked girl, and I always found that cute. But even though he's a pervert, maybe deep down, he actually doesn't have it in him to do anything perverted to us at all. Well, it's not like we'd get mad at him if he did, says Kaneko. Even I'd welcome his lust, and that's saying a lot. Me too, says Asia. I'd welcome any perverted stuff he'd do to me, so why won't he? What is he so afraid of? Now that you mention it, he does sometimes seem afraid whenever we seduce him, says Akeno. True that. But why would Issei be afraid of us? Asks Kaneko. Why would he be afraid of Rias? Asks Asia. Then like a bolt of lightning, the three girls loudly gasp as the same thought strikes. Their faces turn pale, and their eyes widen in disbelief as everything becomes clear to them. Oh, Issei, says Asia as faint tears fill her eyes. Of course, says Akeno, hanging her head in shame. I was wrong, says Kaneko. We're the worst. Later in the clubroom, the group takes a break from the decorations. Akeno, Asia and Kaneko share one sofa while Kiba, Gasper, Zenobia and Irina share the other. They all have the same pale expression on their faces. I see. So that's how Issei died, says Zenobia. Killed by a fallen angel who pretended to be his loving girlfriend. How horrible, says Irina. That's so awful. Issei, I'm so sorry, cries Gasper. Kiba pats Gasper's head to calm him down. So, Issei's been hurting because of Rainer this whole time. And he's afraid of getting hurt again. It's just a guess, replies Kaneko. But then again, why else would he behave the way he does around Rias or the rest of us girls? All this time, we thought Issei was fine, says Akeno. After what happened with Rainer, he kept acting like his usual clueless perverted self. But in reality, he's been suffering all along and he was too afraid to say anything. I can understand how he feels. So can I, says Kiba. Sometimes, it's too painful to open up and talk about the past, even to those closest to you. It's no secret that all of us girls are in love with Issei, says Akeno. While his obliviousness is annoying, until today, we've never gotten frustrated with him about it. We could wait as long as we have to until Issei's ready to confess and accept us into his harem. But Rias, being a royal princess and all, doesn't have that luxury. As the next head of the Gremory family, the underworld has to know that she isn't available anymore. Her family understands Issei's desire to have a harem, and Lady Venelana even encouraged him to build one because it would keep all of us girls happy. But to make that happen, Issei has to progress his relationship with Rias first, and she has to do the same with him. But simply, she was under more pressure from her family to get with Issei, but the constant stress of him not recognizing her feelings became too much for her. If Issei had just told her that he was hurting over Rainer in the first place, she and her family might have been more patient and understanding. But now, it's too late for him to play that card and I'm worried we made things worse for him. We scolded Issei for not understanding Rias, but we're the ones who never understood him. I feel so awful, says Asia. Don't be, Asia, says Zenobia. I feel bad for Issei, I really do. But if he's refusing to confess to Rias because he's afraid of getting hurt again, then he's an even bigger idiot than I thought. Rias would never do that to him. None of us would. You're right, Zenobia, we wouldn't. But Issei just doesn't believe us, says Asia with sad eyes. Rainer broke his heart, says Kaneko. And now, he's too scared of trusting anyone else with it again. And since Rias is the woman he loves, he's scared of her the most and trusts her the least, says Akeno. He genuinely doesn't believe she loves him. Because of that, he's afraid she'll reject him if he makes any attempt to get closer to her. That's why he won't call her by her name, because he believes she doesn't want him to. And I'm telling you that's wrong, says Zenobia. If that's really how Issei feels, then we had every right to get mad at him. Maybe so, but staying mad at him isn't gonna solve anything, says Irina. Irina, says Zenobia. Zenobia, are you still mad at Issei? Asks Gasper. Well, I don't want to be, responds Zenobia. Me neither, says Gasper. I hate feeling this way. I don't want to be mad at him. Not now or ever again. Same here, Gaspy, says Kaneko. Of course not, none of us do, says Asia. So let's not be mad at him anymore. In fact, why don't we go apologize to him? Splendid idea, says Akeno. But first, what Issei needs right now, more than anything, is another healing session. Asia, Kaneko, you two have healing abilities like mine. Would you both help me, please? Absolutely, replies Asia. Word, replies Kaneko. Wonderful, says Akeno. In the meantime, I'd hate to ask this of the rest of you, but would you mind continuing the decorations without us? No problem. You can leave them to us, and we'll leave Issei to you, says Zenobia, making everyone smile. In that case, I'll make a quick run to the store and grab some supplies we're missing, says Kiba. Ooh, can I come too? Asks Gasper. Sure, man, says Kiba. Perfect. Then Irina and I can continue decorating where we left off, says Zenobia. That's right. And when we're done, we'll come help with Issei however we can, says Irina. Ara. Then let's get to it, says Akeno. Yeah. Cheers everyone. Later, Akeno, Kaneko and Asia walk down the hall towards the room where Issei is working. Akeno wears a maiko with her breasts exposed and Kaneko wears a revealing lingerie dress. Akeno, was it really necessary for us to change? Asks Kaneko. Ara. Nope, just felt like it, says Akeno. Do you really think this is gonna work? Asks Asia. It has to, says Akeno. If we can't convince Issei that Rias loves him or that she wants him to call her by name, all we can do is give him the confidence to confess his own feelings to her. In other words, it's impossible to heal broken Issei's brain. But with this, maybe we can heal his broken heart, says Kaneko. Exactly, says Akeno. If Issei's as scarred from Rainer's betrayal as we think he is, the three of us will have to lift those scars from his heart. Honestly, it's really the last thing we can do at this point. If this isn't enough to help Issei let go of the past, then nothing will, and he'll never have a future. And none of us, including Rias, will have the kind of future we want with him. So this is it, says Kaneko. The final threshold. After this, everything comes down to Issei. Balls, I really hope this works. So do I, says Akeno. Listen, says Asia. The three girls stop walking just outside the room and eavesdrop on the conversation Issei has with himself. I'm in love with her. He says aloud. I love her. I've always loved her. I just love the president and I want to confess to her. Hidden behind the door, Akeno, Asia and Kaneko sigh in relief. See, was that so hard? Whispers Kaneko, sarcastically. Whispers Akeno. But what if I'm wrong? Asks Issei aloud. The relationship we have will change. I don't want that. And what about the president? How does she feel about me? Damn it, the heart of a maiden sure is complicated. Akeno, Kaneko and Asia trade smiles. Then they enter the room. Ara. That may be true from a man's perspective, says Akeno. As planned, Asia, Akeno and Kaneko comforted and healed Issei. They reassured him how much everyone, including Rias, loves him. They told him it's okay for him to let go of the pain Rainer caused him. They subtly encouraged him to confess to Rias. And they promised to stay with him forever. Meanwhile, Zenobia and Irina completed their share of the decorations. Upon finishing, they searched the clubhouse for Issei, feeling it was their turn to apologize and comfort him. But once they found him with the three naked girls, they misinterpreted the situation, got naked themselves and tried to seduce him. Issei thought to himself how lucky he is to have such caring friends, promised he'd work harder next time, and resolved to confess to Rias after the rating game. Asia, Akeno, Kaneko, Zenobia and Irina, all still naked, continue to quarrel and wrestle over Issei. They all laugh and have fun together. When the atmosphere calms down, Issei lowers his head. What is it, Issei? Asks Asia. I'm sorry, says Issei. Everyone perks up. This should have been a good day, he says. We were supposed to have fun preparing for the festival, and I fucked it up. My bad. But still, why you guys didn't have to get so mad at me. He takes a moment as light tears fill his eyes. I didn't mean to hurt the prez's feelings, he says. And all that stuff you guys said, it really hurt mine. I'm sorry, okay. I'm sorry. He lowers his head and softly cries. The girls stare at Issei with compassionate eyes and loving smiles. Asia leans closer and kisses Issei's right cheek, causing him to blush. You're right, Issei, she says. I said terrible things without even considering how you felt. There are two sides to every story, and instead of giving you a chance to explain yours, I judged you. You've always been there for me, and I wasn't there for you when it mattered most. Oh, Issei, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, she says with tears streaming down her face. Asia, says Issei. Zenobia kisses his right hand. I'm sorry too, Issei. Listen, just because we got mad at you, it doesn't mean we hate you. Come on, it's not like we were gonna put you in timeout forever. Friends, family, lovers, they say cruel things they don't mean all the time, especially after they screw up. But none of that matters. Even if it doesn't seem like it, we still love you, and we always will. Irina kisses his left hand. That's right, Issei. Yes, you made a mistake, and we were angry. But only for a moment. A single fleeting moment. But it's gone now. I am so sorry for what I said. You're not dumb nor pathetic. Forget that, and remember this. You're incredible, brave, cool and kinder than any man I know. Any girl would be lucky to have you. Kaneko kisses his left cheek. I'm also sorry, Issei. We know full well you didn't mean to hurt Rias, and we're sorry for hurting you. But next time, don't keep your pain hidden. Tell us if there's anything troubling you. We'd never think any less of you, and we'll help you through your pain, just like you helped all of us through ours. After all, you're the best, she says with a smile. Akeno kisses his forehead. Exactly, Issei. If you're still struggling to believe in yourself, then believe in us. Believe us when we say that you will never again experience the heartache Rainer caused you, especially not from Rias. And I'll say this as many times as I have to. I love you, Issei Haidu, and I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And I am so sorry I made you feel like I didn't. We all are. Can you ever forgive us? Asks Akeno with light tears in her eyes. You guys, says Issei, smiling and crying. With that, the 5 nude beauties cuddle even closer to Issei, sharing their warmth with him. He does his best to group hug all 5 of them. For a moment, they all remain still and quiet. Issei takes a deep breath. Do you think the president will forgive me? Of course, she will, Issei, says Akeno. But to be honest, if you're still not ready to tell her how you feel, perhaps it's better if you give her some space. Don't take this the wrong way, you're not in trouble anymore and no one's forcing you to do anything. That being said, Rias is feeling vulnerable right now. Issei frowns, knowing that that's probably his fault. Don't worry, Issei, says Asia. We'll go talk to Rias and apologize to her on your behalf. You will? Asks Issei. Definitely, says Kaneko. We've got you, Issei. You just do your part when the time comes, okay, says Zenobia. You can do it, Issei. We all believe in you, says Irina. Issei feels like he's about to cry again, but he holds it in, he's cried enough. Thanks, girls. Seriously. The crash from downstairs startles everyone, followed by the sound of Gasper whining. Ara. Looks like Kiba and Gasper are back with the supplies, says Akeno. Sounds like poor Gaspy dropped something on his foot again, says Kaneko. Oh, no. I better go heal him, says Asia. Wait, Asia. I'll go, says Issei. Issei? Asks Asia. Issei stands up and puts on his clothes. I told Gasper earlier what it takes to be a man of the House of Gremory. Sometimes, a little pain is needed too. Besides, you said you'd go talk to the prez, right? Please go to her and I'll go to Gasper. Oh, Issei, says Asia, watching him lovingly. Alright. Guess I'm off, says Issei, heading for the door. But then, he stops in the doorway and takes one last look at the 5 girls. They all stand up and smile at him, no more words needed. He gives them a grateful nod and heads off. Okay, now it's Ria's turn, says Akeno. In the foyer, Kiba lifts a heavy box of decoration supplies off Gasper's foot. The junior sniffles in pain. You're gonna be fine, Gasper, says Kiba. It hurts, says Gasper. Issei runs into the foyer. Gasper, you okay, buddy? Issei, whimpers Gasper. Ow, I dropped it on my toes. Ah, man. That sucks, says Issei. Does anything feel broken? Asks Kiba. No, I don't think so, says Gasper. That's good. How about you try standing on it? Asks Issei. What? No way, says Gasper. Issei clutches Gasper's shoulders. Come on, dude. Remember what I said earlier about being a man? This is part of it. We can't let a little pain stop us from doing our jobs, right? Besides, Asia won't always be nearby to heal you. But you've got Kiba and I here backing you up. Now, come on. He's right, Gasper. On your feet, says Kiba. He and Issei both hold Gasper by an arm. Oh okay, says Gasper. Issei and Kiba help him stand up. He staggers a bit on his injured foot but quickly shakes it off. See, buddy. You're all good. Here, let me carry this for you, says Issei, lifting the heavy box. Thank you, Issei, says Gasper with a smile. But then his smile drops as he remembers the earlier incident. Issei sees the look on his face, realizes what he's thinking, and sets the box down. Hey, Gasper, Kiba, I'm sorry, guys, he says. I messed up everything. But I promise I'll try and make things right with the president. Gasper and Kiba trade looks, they realize he spoke with the girls, but still isn't ready to face Rias or call her by name. But his word is good enough for them. They smile and approach Issei. I'm happy to hear that, Issei. And wah, cries Gasper. He lunges at Issei and hugs him tightly. Hey? Gasper? Asks Issei. Issei, I'm so sorry. Cries Gasper. I had no idea such a horrible thing happened to you. I should have known better. You're not worthless nor a piece of shit. You're a good senpai and a great friend. I'm so sorry for how I treated you earlier. Please forgive me, I beg you, wah. Issei rubs Gasper's head, calming him down. It's okay, buddy. I forgive you. So come on, no more whining, alright. Gasper smiles and dries his eyes. Right. Kiba touches Issei's shoulder. I'm sorry too, man. And I'm proud of you. Proud of me for being stupid? Asks Issei. Proud of you for thinking about what you did wrong and for resolving to do better, replies Kiba. Take it from me, Issei. The feelings of girls are very delicate. As a future harem king, you need to learn how to handle them. So just try and be more careful the next time you talk to Rias. And try not to keep her waiting so much longer, okay? You've got nothing to be afraid of, dude, I promise. Thanks, Kiba. You too, Gasper, says Issei. The Gremory boys all trade smiles. Now, what do you say we get back to work? Insists Kiba. We still need to finish these decorations before we leave for the game. I know it'd mean the world to Rias. Hell yeah. Let's get it done, says Issei. Yeah, cheers Gasper. Meanwhile in Gasper's bedroom, the desk by the wall is cluttered with handwritten notes and hand-drawn diagrams. As Rias said, she spent her time strategizing for the upcoming raiding game. On the king-size bed, Rias sits against the headboard holding her knees to her chest, while Asia, Akeno, Kaneko, Zenobia and Irina, all dressed, sit spread out on the bed. They look like 6 ordinary teenage girls gossiping in bed together. Rias has the same pale expression on her face the others had earlier. He's been hurting because of Rainer all along. And I never noticed. Please don't blame yourself, Rias. None of us were aware of Issei's pain, says Asia. I'm supposed to take care of my servants, says Rias. But I was too caught up with my own feelings to even bother with his. I'm a horrible master. That's not true, Rias, says Akeno. If anything, Issei shouldn't have kept his pain from us. I understand why he did, but I myself was once scared of telling him I'm half-fallen angel. I was afraid he'd hate me and reject me, but he didn't. He accepted me for who I am, and I fell in love with him because of it. I found the courage to tell him and to trust him with my pain. And after everything I've done for Issei, everything we've all done for him, you'd think he'd do the same for us. But he didn't. If he had, we wouldn't be in this mess. But that doesn't matter anymore. We proved to Issei that he can trust us. All that matters now is what he does next. We did everything we could to help him, Rias, says Kaneko. All we can do now is have faith in him. That's right, Rias, says Asia. Issei feels awful about what he did. And he wanted to apologize to you so badly, but we advised him not to. Not until he was ready to face you. And how long will that take? Asks Rias. I understand his trauma, I really do. What I don't understand is why he's more afraid of me than he is the rest of you. He's so afraid he won't even say my name. Why? Why is he singling me out? Why is he putting extra distance between me and him? Did I do something wrong? Or is it just because of who I am? Yes, I am his master, a princess of the underworld and the Devil King's sister. And he's my servant, a lower-class devil and a former human commoner. But none of that matters to me, and I'm upset all of it does to him. Why should he feel so intimidated by me? If I wasn't any of those things, would he stop being afraid of me? Would he accept me into his stupid harem then? The other girls exchange sorrowful glances. It's killing them to see Rias this way, but they know they can't just tell her Issei is in love with her. It wouldn't do either of them any good, and it'd be wrong to rob Issei of the chance to do it himself. Asia takes her hand. Rias, you did nothing wrong. Issei just doesn't believe in himself enough. Since Rainer told him how little she thought of him, he's under the false impression that we all think little of him too. He's filled with so much self-doubt, and that's what's holding him back. But Kaneko's right, we did everything we could to help him. Now, he has to overcome the rest on his own. And he will, I know he will. I hope you're right, Asia, says Rias. But still, he's making this so much harder on himself. It's not like he has to tell me he loves me. I just want him to treat me the same way he does all of you. I want him to acknowledge me as a girl, not just as his master. I do appreciate how much he respects me, and I'm grateful for everything he's done, I really am. But why is saying my name alone so hard for him? If he just did that, I'd. He can't, Rias, says Akeno. For whatever foolish reason, he can't do one without doing the other. I'm sorry this happened to you. And I'm sorry he's more afraid of you than the rest of us. It's unfair and wrong for him to feel that way. But he will tell you how he feels, when he's ready. Then what am I supposed to do? Asks Rias. Should I just tell him to say my name? No, of course, I can't. He's so clueless, he'd misinterpret that as an order from his master. I want him to say my name because he wants to, not because he has to. He will, Rias, says Zenobia. You don't have to do anything. That's right, Rias, says Irina. And this may sound cliché coming from an angel, but please try to forgive him. It's the best thing you can do for the pain in your heart. After all, you still love him, don't you? More than anyone or anything, whimpers Rias. Akeno holds her other hand. Then forgive him. And wait for him. Rias takes a deep breath and smiles at everyone. I've waited this long to hear him say my name. Guess I can wait a little longer. Thank you, all of you. Everyone else smiles back. Rias wipes the faint tears from her eyes and puts on a stern face. Listen to me, girls, she says. I want you to stay with Issei. What? Asks Asia. You all still love him too, don't you? As you should, says Rias. He's an amazing guy and he's going to become the greatest hero ever. Who wouldn't love such a man? So if you still want to join his harem, do it even if he doesn't want me in it. Akeno shakes her head. But Rias, I'm not ordering you as your master, says Rias. I'm asking you as a fellow maiden in love. Please stay with Issei. Don't leave him for my sake. He needs to be loved and he deserves to be loved. This is his harem, his heart, his life. And as stupid and unfair as it may be, it's his choice whether to include me or not. Whatever choice he makes, whether he welcomes me or leaves me behind, promise me you'll stay with him no matter what. All of you. The girls trade sad looks. Again, this is killing them so much. Little does Rias know, if Issei doesn't accept her into the harem, the rest of the girls don't have a chance. Rias is the catalyst to making it all happen. But one by one, the girls all give Rias a vague nod, confirming their promise. Again, thank you, says Rias, putting up a bold front. But then, the cracks in her resolve show as more tears fill her eyes and stream down her face. All 5 girls cuddle around Rias, hugging her as she whimpers. It's going to be okay, Rias, says Akeno. Issei will tell you how he feels, says Zenobia. Yeah. And he'll call you by your name, says Irina. And he'll include you in his harem for sure, says Kaneko. Please be strong, Rias, says Asia. Believe in Issei. You won't have to wait much longer, I know it. The night before the raiding game, Issei sleeps in a bed. He rolls over, opens his eyes, and finds Akeno sleeping face 2 inches away from his. He's about to freak out, but calms himself down. Issei make love to me, mumbles Akeno in her sleep. Issei's face goes red, Akeno tends to have erotic dreams about him. Then he looks down and notices Kaneko sleeping on his other side. Oh, yeah, that's right, he thinks. After the sauna incident, Rias kicked Issei out of his own bedroom. The first night, he slept on a couch in a storage room. But tonight, what with the game tomorrow, he needed to sleep in a bed to get some proper rest. Since the other girls weren't mad at him anymore, Akeno allowed him to sleep in her room. Plus, she'd never pass up the chance to sleep with him anyway. Kaneko felt the same, so she snuck into bed with him. As for Asia, she usually sleeps with Issei as well. But if she did so tonight, Rias wouldn't have anyone to sleep with. Then she wouldn't be able to sleep at all, and as king, she needs proper rest even more than Issei does. So Asia spoke with Issei earlier and said she'll sleep with Rias tonight. Even though she loves Issei, wants to sleep with him as always, and isn't mad at him anymore, she wanted to be there for Rias. Issei understood, he normally sleeps together with the both of them and knows it's his fault they're not doing so tonight. Asia assured him the 3 of them would go back to sleeping together soon. Issei closes his eyes and tries to fall back asleep. He knows he needs to rest, but something on his mind won't let him. He takes a deep breath and carefully gets out of bed so as not to wake Akeno or Kaneko. A handwritten sign taped on Issei's bedroom door reads, Issei not permitted. Inside the bedroom, Rias and Asia lie in bed. While Asia sleeps soundly, Rias struggles to pass out. Why is this happening? Thinks Rias. The game's tomorrow and I need to rest. I've managed to sleep without Issei before. It was difficult, sure, but I still managed. Damn it, Issei. I want to sleep with you so much. I miss the way you feel. How warm you are. How safe you make me. So why? Why aren't you here? Why are you so afraid of me? Why would you ever compare me to Rainer? I'm nothing like her and I would never hurt you. Why don't you believe that? Are we ever gonna sleep together again? Because if all I am to you is just your master, then I don't know. I've cried over Issei enough today. I am the head of the Gremory household, not some heartbroken girl yearning for a lost love. I need to focus on the game. Issei's gonna have to wait. Footsteps outside the hall grab Ria's attention. She looks up and sees a shadow under the door crack. Hey, President, whispers Issei. Ria scowls and covers her head with a pillow. Outside, Issei stands before the door. I, don't know if you're awake or not, but he says. He sighs and leans his head against the door, squeezing his eyes shut. Look, I know you're still mad at me, and I'm sorry, he says. I still don't know what I did wrong, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry for being such a dick nugget. And I know saying sorry isn't enough, but if you'll give me another chance, I swear I'll make it up to you. He backs away from the door, eyes full of determination. We're gonna beat Saraerd tomorrow, and we'll do it together, he says. Inside, Ria sits up, listening to his words in earnest. Issei takes another breath. I hope, like really and seriously hope, that you can forgive me someday. I just wanted you to know how sorry I am. So, yeah. Well, good night, then. Soon as he starts to leave, Rias gets out of bed. She runs to the door, about to open it, but stops herself. She listens as Issei's footsteps disappear down the hall. He's already gone. Good night, Issei, says Rias aloud. As Issei walks off down the hall, he thinks to himself. If the Prez wants to stay mad at me, that's fine. I deserve it. But she's gonna have to wait. I'm just not ready to take the next step with her. But after we win the game, I will be. Please, President. Wait for me. Back in the bedroom, Rias lays in bed, eyes wide and lost in thought. After the game. I'll talk to him after the game. Issei, I really hate the way things are between us. I understand you're in pain, but even so you're not being fair to me. Still, you've always been loyal, and I can't let things go on like this. So I'll give you another chance. After the game, no matter the outcome, I'll talk to you. If we win, it'll most likely be because of you. As your master, I'll show you my gratitude. But if we lose, knowing you, you'll hate yourself for letting me down. And I'll be there for you. Oh, Issei, I want you to say my name so badly. But what if you really don't love me? I'm such a coward. I don't even have the courage to face you. I want to talk to you. I want to hold you, laugh with you, kiss you, and tell you how much I love you. But as selfish as it sounds, I don't want to live in a world where you don't love me back. However, if you really don't feel that way about me, I won't resent you for it. I'll be hurt, probably forever, but I won't hold it against you. You've always come through for me. It's just if I talk to you now and you still only think of me as the president or your master and not as a person, then that's it. There'll be no place for me in your future. I don't want that. So please, Issei, I beg of you, please don't leave me behind. I love you. I've loved you for so long, and I always will. So please. Sleep finally gets the better of her and she drifts off into slumber. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video.